Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. The score stands at 3-3, the clock has just ticked past the 84th minute. This is no ordinary match. This is Argentina versus Brazil, football's most intense rivalry, being played out in New Jersey before a crowd of 82,000 frenzied spectators. This thrilling, pulsating 7-goal encounter now hangs precariously in the balance. And right at that moment, the ball finds its way to him, just inside the Brazilian half, near the right touchline, a spot where any real danger seems a distant prospect. But this is Lionel Messi, and in the ensuing 10 seconds, he would execute something so audacious and spectacular that it would plunge an entire nation into stunned silence. How, in a single instant, can one man completely vanquish his greatest rival? This is the story of the goal that left Brazil shell-shocked and immortalized a truly magnificent performance. June 9, 2012, MetLife Stadium looks like a sea of yellow and blue, officially. This is an international friendly, but truth be told, when Argentina and Brazil face off on the same pitch, it can hardly be called a mere match. It is a fierce contest, a battle for continental supremacy, and a spectacle capable of filling a stadium to the brim, even when no major European Championship fixtures are being broadcast on television. The entire world remained glued to their TV screens to witness this duel between two footballing deities. Brazil's incredible new prodigy Neymar, a player already being compared to the very best, and Argentina's captain Lionel Messi. The pressure on Messi was immense. Statistically, 2012 was an incredible year for him. He was well on his way to setting the astonishing record of scoring 91 goals in a single calendar year. For his club Barcelona, he was a veritable goal-scoring machine. That season alone, he had netted 73 goals in just 60 matches. But for Argentina, the narrative was different. Critics frequently argued that, clad in the blue and white jersey, he was simply not the same player, that he could not replicate his club-level magic for his country. This friendly match served as yet another trial by fire for him. He faced a formidable Brazilian squad featuring future stars like Oscar and Hulk and a defensive line anchored by Real Madrid's Marcelo. It was not merely a game, it was a test of his legacy. The match kicked off amidst the expected atmosphere of palpable tension. Neymar was in full flow at the time, tearing the Argentine defense to shreds. During the opening 20 minutes, Brazil appeared the more agile and dangerous side. The Argentine defense had completely crumbled, creating vast open spaces in the midfield, and then, in the 23rd minute, Brazil capitalized on that opportunity. A quick free kick caught the Argentine defense completely off guard. The ball found Romulo, who brought it under control, rounded the goalkeeper, and fired a powerful shot into the net. Brazil took a 1-0 lead. The Brazilian fans erupted in jubilation. The early signs did not look promising for Argentina or for Messi. It seemed as though the same old, frustrating narrative was about to repeat itself, but Messi had other plans. For years, teammates and coaches have spoken of Messi's secret, how he often spends the first few minutes of a match simply walking around, surveying the pitch, and mentally mapping out the opponent's vulnerabilities. He wasn't slacking off. He was searching for space, and against Brazil, he found it. In the 31st minute, they launched their first attack. Gonzalo Higuain applied pressure in the midfield and delivered a perfect pass to Messi. With a single touch, he bypassed the entire defensive line. With a second touch, he calmly slotted the ball into the far corner. Exactly 3 minutes later, a similar sequence unfolded. This time, Ángel Di María provided the pass, and Messi surged forward once again with blistering pace. He sprinted ahead with such explosive speed that he left the defenders looking as if they were stuck in the mud. He beat goalkeeper Rafael Cabral and slotted the ball into the empty net. Argentina took a 2-1 lead. In a span of just 3 minutes, Messi had single-handedly turned the tide of the match. Brazil's defense, which moments earlier had appeared so confident, was now looking around in utter bewilderment. Brazil is never a team to be underestimated. The 5-time world champions took the field in the second half like wounded lions, determined to prove themselves. This extraordinary match was far from over. In the 56th minute, they drew level, following a superb exchange of passes at the edge of the box. The ball fell to Oscar, who calmly guided it into the net. 2-2. The game had evolved into a beautiful, epic spectacle. Brazil's momentum continued to build. In the 72nd minute, they took the lead once again with a magnificent goal. The ball reached Hulk outside the box, and he unleashed a powerful side-footed volley that flew straight into the net. Brazil led 3-2. The Brazilian bench erupted in jubilation. The Argentine players looked crestfallen. Suddenly, it seemed as though Messi's extraordinary brilliance in the first half might have been in vain, but this Argentine squad was not one to give up so easily. Just 4 minutes later, they won a corner kick. Kun Agüero delivered a superb cross, and defender Federico Fernandez rose high to head the ball directly into the net. 3-3. The stadium was electric with excitement. With less than 15 minutes remaining in the match, it had become a fierce, end-to-end battle waiting only for one more magical moment, and then, that moment arrived. The 84th minute, the score was level. The tension was almost unbearable. Messi received the ball on the right flank, just inside the Brazilian half. A wall of players clad in yellow jerseys stood between him and the goal. It seemed as though nothing was possible. But then commentators would later remark that, in this very moment, it was as if Messi were playing in a different world entirely. He began to sprint forward, cutting diagonally across the pitch toward the center as he raced toward the goal. The Brazilian defenders retreated almost in slow motion. They were terrified to get too close, yet they dared not afford him any space either. Marcelo, one of the world's finest left-backs, was right there. Messi had already outmaneuvered him during the first goal. Now, facing him once again, Messi swiftly left him in his wake. As he advanced toward the penalty area, the defenders fell back in panic, granting him the one thing you simply cannot even by mistake afford to give him the slightest bit of space. Arriving right at the edge of the box, he made his move, cutting sharply to his left to carve out the perfect angle. The entire world held its breath. Everyone knew what was about to happen next, yet stopping it was an entirely different matter. He unleashed the ball into the air. It was not merely a shot, it was a work of art, filled with such power and precision. A high, curling missile of a ball that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. It soared over the goalkeeper's outstretched hands and nestled directly into the top corner of the net. It was a goal born of ultimate, unbelievable individual brilliance. Argentina took a 4-3 lead. Players on the Argentine bench leaped up in jubilation and rushed onto the pitch. A frenzy of ecstasy swept through the entire stadium. The goal was so magnificent that it effectively sealed the outcome of the match right then and there. The Brazilian players stood with their hands on their hips, their faces etched with expressions of utter disbelief. Neymar, the young player poised to challenge Messi's reign, was witnessing, from the front row, one of the greatest individual performances in the history of this rivalry. The final few minutes of the match were charged with an altercation resulted in both Marcelo and Ezequiel Lavezzi being shown red cards, a clear indication of just how desperate the Brazilian players had become, having been completely outplayed by a single opponent. When the final whistle blew, the official score read Argentina 4, Brazil 3, but the scoreboard didn't tell the whole story. The real story was about Lionel Messi. He had stepped onto that pitch shouldering the weight of his nation's expectations and the ceaseless whispers of his critics. He sealed the victory with a hat-trick against his greatest rival, a performance highlighted by a goal that stands as one of the most memorable of his entire career. Later, Messi remarked, "I truly enjoyed this because it carried so much significance." And to finish the match with a goal like that was, in itself, a monumental achievement. A performance like that truly leaves you speechless. It serves as a reminder that, even among superstars, one player can still shine the brightest. But what do you think? Where does this hat trick rank among Messi's greatest matches? Is that 84th minute winner his greatest goal ever for Argentina? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories about football's most memorable moments, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. That night in New Jersey was about more than just a victory in a friendly match. It was a grand declaration. For years, there had been ongoing debate regarding Messi's true contribution to the Argentine national team. On that grand stage, against that specific opponent, he delivered a resounding answer, one that was simply impossible to ignore. His performance was so spectacular that it completely reshaped the entire narrative. He didn't just score 3 goals, he scored 3 of goals, each executed in signature Messi style, like 3 dagger thrusts straight into the heart of Brazil. Although he would later lead Argentina to victory in both the Copa America and the World Cup, it could be argued that this very night was when he established himself as a true national hero, a player capable of winning any match single-handedly. That secret strategy was not merely a ploy, it was the entire game itself. It was the experience of watching a singular genius survey the pitch, wait for his moment, and then execute moves that no other player on earth could have even imagined, and on. That summer evening, Brazil and the rest of the world watched on in sheer awe.